Why do most people stay broke even with a steady income? I thought I was doing everything right, saving, sacrificing, playing it safe, until I realized my savings was actually keeping me poor. I grew up watching my father stash cash in a shoebox under his bed. Every month he'd add a few wrinkled bills, convinced he was building security. He'd pat that box and smile. "This," he'd say, "is how you survive." But survival was all it gave us. We never thrived. Here's the truth they don't teach you. Saving alone is a slow leak in a sinking ship. I read a study from the Federal Reserve that showed people who only saved cash lost over 80% of their purchasing power since 1971, when Nixon took us off the gold standard. Inflation doesn't take a vacation. It eats your future, $1 at a time. So why does almost everyone still hide in cash? Because fear feels safer than math. But what if I told you there's a way out? Look at Warren Buffett. In 1965, he took Berkshire Hathaway, a failing textile mill, and transformed it into a $500 billion empire. But here's the forgotten part. In 1969, when the market was frothy, Buffett closed his partnership and sat on cash. Everyone called him crazy. By 1973, when the market crashed 50%, he swooped in like a predator. He didn't hoard cash out of fear. He held it as ammunition for opportunity. That's the shift you need. Point 2. Your savings account is not a wealth builder. It's a wealth destroyer. I had a client named Sarah, a teacher making $55,000 a year. She'd saved $30,000 in a bank earning 0.01% interest. She was proud. But with inflation averaging 3% annually, her money lost $900 of purchasing power every year. That's a month of groceries gone, just vanished. She was working harder to lose money than most people work to earn it. Why did she keep doing it? Because she'd been brainwashed to believe safety exists in paper. It doesn't. I showed Sarah a different path. Instead of hoarding cash, she started putting $500 a month into a simple index fund, tracking the S&P 500. 10 years later, that $30,000 she thought was safe would have grown to over $85,000, even accounting for market dips. But her cash? Still $30,000, now worth $22,000 is in real spending power. That's the difference between playing defense and playing offense, between surviving and thriving. Point 3, and this is the deepest cut. Your relationship with money is a mirror of your relationship with yourself. I know because I was the same way. I was afraid of losing what little I had, so I clutched it tight. But tight fists can't receive. I had to learn that money is not a thing to hoard, it's a tool to deploy. Cash is like water, it must flow. If you dam it up, it stagnates and breeds fear. If you channel it into assets, it irrigates your future. The rich don't save, they invest in things that grow. The middle class saves and wonders why they never get ahead. Which one do you want to be? Here's the proof that stings. In 1980, the average home cost $47,000. A new car was $7,000. A gallon of gas, $1.19. Today, that same home is $400,000. The car, $48,000. Gas, $350s. The cash you hoarded, it bought a house then. Now it barely buys a decade of rent. Meanwhile, someone who bought $10,000 of Apple stock in 2003 would have over $3 million today. That's not luck. That's understanding that money must work, not wait. Think about your own life right now. How much cash is sitting in a bank account earning less than 1%? How many months of your labor are you letting inflation steal? I'm not saying you should be reckless. I'm saying that the biggest risk you can take is to take no risk at all. The game has changed. Your grandfather's rules don't work anymore. Safety isn't in a savings account. It's in assets that outpace inflation. It's in skills that appreciate. It's in a mind that understands money as a living force. I had another client, Mark, a retired postal worker. He'd saved $200,000 over 40 years. Planned to live off interest. But by 2022, with inflation at 9%, his purchasing power dropped $18,000 in a single year. He had to go back to work part-time at 68. Not because he was lazy, because his safe money betrayed him. The tragedy isn't that he didn't have enough. It's that he followed the rules and still lost. The system isn't designed to protect savers. It's designed to reward investors. Here's the one thing I need you to remember. Saving is for survival. Investing is for abundance. If you want to stop being broke, stop acting like a hoarder, and start acting like an owner. Own assets. Own your future. Stop letting fear convince you that playing small is safe. If this hit home, hit subscribe.